This is how you should plan for retirement. I'm going to read you this last chapter, 3 paragraphs of this book, Green Mountain Farms, written by Elliot Merrick in 1948. This book just touches my soul, and if you read it too, it would most likely touch yours. I'm going to read this to you because in these 3 or 4 chapters, everything about gratefulness, about your retirement plan, it's just all summed up here. And just so bear with me just a second. During the war, we could not stay on the farm. The war dislocated us like everybody else. We had no desire to stay at the farm, and our own private battle seemed temporarily on the shelf because it was at stake. So they thought. Just sad, like during the war. The whole thing with the lockdowns here was just freaking insanely stupid, and people say, "Well, you should have saw what happened in World War II." Yeah, that doesn't make it better. Anyway. We wanted to be useful, and so we tried. But whether or not we succeeded, I wouldn't know, because these people are patriots. And even though I'm sure this guy's liberal, he wanted to help the good cause. Because back then, everyone trusted the government. You shouldn't trust the government. That's a mistake. Even World War II, you shouldn't have trusted them. We bounced around here and there like a good many other millions, doing what we could, grateful to have any sort of roof that wasn't being perforated by bombs, living always on too intimate terms with our neighbors' trash and garbage cans, yet living without any real certainty that we had a right to live at all. At last, the time came when we were bound back for the farm, one hot day in August of 1945. To the 410 miles up from New York City seemed like a long haul, and even after we reached the south end of Vermont, we had more than 150 miles yet to go. Just at sunset, we're rolling up the last stretch of road, seeing the quiet lake again, the maple trees, and the white gable end of our house gleaming among the leaves. Man, this doesn't bring a tear to you. I tell you, my heart is melting as I read this. I want to read it again. Just at sunset, we were rolling up the last stretch of road, seeing the quiet lake again, the maple trees, and the white gable end of our house gleaming among the leaves. Now, can you imagine being away from the farm that you lived for 20 years, you raised your family and all that? I don't know how long I was away from it, but a couple years probably. And then you're coming back and you're seeing that place and the hills, the beauty of the mountains, the beauty of the lake, the beauty of your home, the trees, the quiet. It's in August. Yeah, hot day in August, the sunset. Oh. Oh. We pulled up and tumbled onto the green grass beside the house where we stretched out flat and pressed our noses onto the green, cool freshness of the grass roots. It was too good even to speak of. Man. The sun sank down beyond the western ridges across the lake. The bright blue of the sky dimmed, and it almost seemed we could feel the coolness of the dew quietly falling like a blessing. In that moment, Kay and I, his wife, were conscious of all the millions who had died. Kim lifted up his chin and rested in his palm, staring in. I think Kim is one of his kids. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a little bit since I read this. But Kim lifted up his chin and rested it in his palm, staring in disbelief at the rolling profile of Albany Hills. You know, he said, those hills are in my mind. In the time we'd been away, I'd often thought of their distinctive shape myself, and of the many times they had been blue when I was coming home. I lay in the grass, wondering about the future and what it would bring us, now that we were home again. Only time and the needs of a family can determine whether we'll be able to stay on our farm year-round or summers only, or whether we'll find ourselves looking for another small farm somewhere else. Now that we've learned a little bit about it the hard way. I think they ended up moving to North Carolina or Virginia or something like that. I think North Carolina. Perhaps it doesn't matter. The sunset will still flame over the snowdrifts, and the beautiful blizzards will come roaring in from the northwest. The trees will lose their leaves and grow them again. The cowslips will spring up in the swales and the violets in the woods. And in me and my children, I hope, will be a consciousness that natural things are as powerful and all-pervading as they were in the time of the pagan Greeks and the wine-dark sea and the sylvan gods. The springtimes come when the maple leaves unroll as big as a mouse's ear, and the wild roses bloom, the blackberries ripen, and these things will go on, as the old New England land deeds phrase it, as long as grass grows and the water runs. It is good to know all this, for there is really nothing else. Man, it's good because there's nothing else. The nature that you're living in, man, why rob yourself? The beauty of nature, the wild roses, the blackberries, these things will go on. Hold on a second, let me find what he said about nature. The natural things are as powerful and all-pervading as they ever were, to include in the time of the pagans of the Greeks. The blackberries ripen, the grass grows, the water runs, the roses bloom, the maple leaves unroll. You're gonna, see, can you get yourself out of this stock market stuff, or I got to get, a better return, or I just put yourself in the mind of the reality of the world. Get yourself out of that. Look, I'm in it too. I don't even know what the market is doing. I have no idea. So I'm good on that. I've been getting better. I mean, I'll check every day. I was wondering, because this is what I do for a living, YouTube stuff. I got to know. But I'm sitting there thinking the glory of God's nature. And we're dismissing, and look, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying out loud, I have a sneaky suspicion many of you guys are dismissing it for the financial balance sheet stuff. And I'm like, it's right there for the taking. And like my man says, he goes, we don't know what the future holds. We'll get by. You're going to get by, man. You're going to get by. If you just allow it to come to you, as opposed to just chasing the dragon, chasing the dragon, chasing the dragon. Stop. Let me read you something here. This guy emailed me. He says, 2 years into retirement, why did I ever listen to you, Josh? I must admit, if one were to listen to the pundits these days, hope is lost. We are doomed unless we submit to letting someone else run our lives. I must say my father did not fight in World War II to give up, as well as many brave people across the globe who fought to be free from forced government control. So what does this have to do with retirement? Is the freedom one gains in living free from a job that controls. This guy emailed this to me. Real guy. Your advice let me take care of my mother until she passed away at 99 years old last December. Those months of freedom mean more than my job could replace. Your advice that if you have a nest egg that's big enough, there's no need trying to beat a market that can take it all away. Your advice that gold can be insurance for your portfolio, a plan I dollar cost average in for years now, bears fruit. Your advice to try to be poor on paper has given me a 12% tax bracket and affordable health care. Your advice that expenses go down in retirement is so true. My budget bears the proof. Your most crucial advice that leaving a crappy old job can save your life is so true. I had A1C and I don't know what that is, in double digits now. And now I'm all in the fives. All my biomarkers are great. No more stress. I exercise and eat right because now I use my time for me, not my employer. Your advice that one have a purpose for their life in retirement is so true. I think I'll die long before I get bored. Yeah, 100%, brother. Freedom is a gift with a price. We just have to decide if it's worth it ourselves. Thank you, Josh, for giving hope to those who seek freedom in the retirement. I appreciate that, but you all built the freaking thing. You know what I'm saying? You all built the house. It's not built on sand. I mean, some people are built on sand, and that sucks for them. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to figure out how to make it built on rock. But I read this from Elliot. I'm just sitting there thinking, I mean. It's not just the beauty of nature. It's just the gratefulness, the gratitude of God's bounty that you can smell. You can feel it. I got this spreadsheet. I get 8,000 spreadsheets. It doesn't mean squat. It's kind of like everyone has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. That's what Mike Tyson says, and it's so true. And they want all these different. I got a plan for all these, events. You can't, dude. You can't. That's impossible. At some point, you just gotta have to say, I'm going. I'm going. I'm literally going to smell the roses. I'm going to smell them. Worst case scenario for me, got Social Security and a paid off house. If that's the worst case scenario, I'm gonna get by. I might not get by with a fancy new car and a catamaran, and it's okay to have catamarans. It's okay as long as it's for. I got no qualms. Do not put words in my mouth. If you like a Mercedes Benz, okay. None of that's for me, but that's okay. It's for you. But I can't guarantee anybody. But for me, as for me and my house, I will serve the Lord. But it's not even that. It is that ultimately. But what I'm saying is, it's like worst case scenario, you're gonna get by. It might be tight. Wow, welcome to the world, right? Be tight. I gotta get by tight. That's crazy. Worst case scenario is, my life is tight. I can't have freaking ribeye. I have to have ground beef. Wow. When people back in the day had no beef at all. This is the way retirement planning should be. It should be a soulful thing. Get your soul. Let it breathe. I don't even know what it is we want to do. I was listening to, because the Nazis on the abortionists, they want to close down Elizabeth Warren and stuff, these pregnancy centers. There's so many people, their soul is leading them to pregnancy centers. It's fantastic. We donate thousands and thousands of dollars a year to pregnancy centers. One in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Is it Cherry Hill? Maybe Camden. I can't remember. And then one in South Texas. But they got one in, Elizabeth Warren is trying to shut them down because they're torturing pregnant people, is what she said. Maybe your soul is being driven for that. Maybe your soul is being driven to be a volunteer fireman. Maybe I don't know what it is. But all the spreadsheets in the world, man, this is just distraction. What is your soul telling you? Get out there and smell. Smell it. Feel it. Live it. Just real quick again. Right here. At that moment, Kay and I were conscious of the millions who have died. We were grateful that we had a roof over our head, and I'm kind of paraphrasing now. Oh, right here. Grateful to have any sort of roof that wasn't being perforated by bombs. Conscious of the millions who had died. It almost seemed like we could feel the coolness of the dew quietly falling like a blessing. It's good to know all this because there really is nothing else. All right, I'm going to go take care of dogs, and blessings to you. What is your soul telling you? We'll see you.